Welcome back to the Energy of Manifestation podcast. I am so excited for this episode because I have the amazing, and I think of, I forget her name from the Rising Collective, who did all the introductions.
Oh, Krista.
Yes, every time I think of like how she said your name. Haley Bowler-Cooke.
Yeah, she did like a game show.
Yeah.
It was good.
So we have Haley Bowler-Cooke here with us today, and we are going to dive into some deep conversations. I have her amazing book, UNFUCKWITHABLE, and on page 5, you guys, I sent her a message to book this because I was literally feeling the shifts happening in my head already. Like I feel in my body and like when things are shifting, and that like it was I felt like the plates in my head were moving.
Yes.
So
I wrote it in that way. I wanted it to reprogram people's brains while they're reading it. So I'm glad you felt that 5 pages in.
Yeah, 5 pages in, guys. So get the book. If you haven't got it already, it is available on Amazon or probably also
Indigo. It's on Indigo as well, indigo.ca, and a couple like Indigos in store. I don't know where your listeners are from. Are they all Canadian?
They're kind of
all over. Yeah. So if you're in Ontario, you can get it at Indigos across Ontario, but it's not yet in like Barnes and Noble in the States or anything, but soon. Yeah, of course. I'm sorry. It just came out within the year. So
good. One of the things I really wanted to talk to you about was like a lot of people talk about setting boundaries in their life, right? Like nobody's crossing this line, but you had said, and it really I really want to chat with you about it. About like setting standards instead of boundaries. So actually, before we get into that, you want to like do a little intro in what you do and all that, and then we'll go into
Okay, I love that. Okay, so hello everybody on YouTube, on the podcast. I'm Haley Bowler-Cooke, the icon of New Paradigm Spirituality. So very much like Leslie, I'm getting the vibe like we aren't here to, follow a set of rules in the book. We're just being our true selves. And I think that's the iconic thing to do, is to be your true self. So although I'm extremely esoteric in my work and the way that I channel and the intergalactics that I channel and the ancestors that I channel, it's this very like ancient wisdom. And yet here I am, 29 years old. I'm this blonde avatar human in this lifetime. And I also, I do this esoteric, deep, transformative work with my clients in the book, as a speaker in the world. But ultimately, I'm here to just live my best life, live a life by design. And that's what I empower you into doing. So I think you'll be expanded just by hearing the way that I am and the way that I speak and the ancient wisdom that I hold in my body, the infinite intelligence from source that I channel effortlessly. But at the end of the day, like I'm just here to have fun as well on earth and experience joy and experience pleasure and live my best life. So I'm Haley Bowler-Cooke. I am the best-selling author of UNFUCKWITHABLE, which we've covered. Definitely get it on Amazon.
Yes, definitely.
So easy to just get it on Amazon. Like, honestly, I know everyone's all has their weird feelings about Amazon, and I understand and appreciate that, but they're really good to authors, and it's actually like a great commission split for authors. So I say thank you to whoever buys it on Amazon. I also have a podcast, Uplift Lifestyle Podcast. That's kind of how, back when I was in university, I was studying clinical kinesiology. So my background's actually in science. Did that what you study too?
No, but that's where I was going.
I love it. So I studied clinical kinesiology, and I was on my way. It was like my 3rd year. I was on my way to class in the morning from my partner who lived in Waterloo at the time. We now live together here in Stratford. But I was on my way from his house going to class, and I got this, like, it was like the sunny day, and like I could just like feel you know, when you just feel peace and bliss on like a very powerful level,
Yeah.
that was the feeling I had in my body. And within that moment, a portal opened and it was like, start a podcast. And I was like, okay, so that's kind of how it all started. So my podcast started, and I still have all the original episodes, which I cringe about. Like,
I hear you. I
cringe at them, but like at the same time, you know, what we were sharing, because it was myself and my sister. She's now a musician, artist,
Amazing.
poet. She has a book as well. Like, she's just incredible. A true icon, fashion designer. She does everything.
Yeah,
She designed my outfit.
yeah, say that. Yeah. Okay.
So she designed that. But we started like just talking about, like, just chatting with each other about, you know, what we were doing for our own self-development, our own spirituality, and it transformed into Uplift Lifestyle Podcast, which is now listened in every country in the world and doing really well. And I don't record that often, but when I do, it's powerful, it's potent. And yeah, so it started with a podcast, and that kind of shifted me into like understanding, I guess, business and entrepreneurship in a new way, because I wanted more people to listen to the podcast. And I was like, hey, like, this is a free offering, it's a podcast, and I want everyone to listen to it. So I started to get into that entrepreneurship world.
Yeah.
I then actually, funny enough, I started a tech company. So get this, I'm in school for science. I started a tech company. And I also have my like wellness podcast going. So it was just like all the things all at once. And I ended up closing the tech company. It wasn't aligned, even though it was like super cool. And I shifted into what I do now, which is energy work, energy medicine, energetic and physical upgrades, direct channeling. I'm a thought leader, author, podcaster. Like, I love to speak and share and like raise the collective vibration through meeting as many people as I can, networking, sharing, all that. But ultimately, like, the juice and the bread and butter of my work, my life's work, is what I do one-on-one with clients. Like, that's where I feel like my full embodied truth comes through. But yeah, so there's many aspects. So it's like the podcast, the book, and then events I do, and ceremonies and retreats. And I kind of do it all in terms of sharing source consciousness, sharing harmonization, upgrading, optimizing. My life's work is about you being optimized, you being your highest self. And you can calibrate to that just as we converse today and chat today. And besides my life's work, the things that I love to do are to enjoy good people, good food, good drinks. My life partner of 12 years, he's a private chef. So we're like big into food and wine and traveling and yeah, just literally living a beautiful fucking life. And I'm very aware of the fact that I have very esoteric, unique gifts that, you know, it's life-changing, but it's also kind of surprising to me every day. Like, yep, this is what I do.
Yep.
And I tried to channel that all into the book. I tried to get as much of my consciousness into the book as I could. It's like a legacy that lives on. So
yeah,
I guess that's a little bit about me. You'll learn more as we go, but there's so many things. So many things.
Oh, and this is like why we're here, because I find, especially in the work that we do, or that, like, for my personal experience, like, you just have so much fun because you never know where you're gonna end up.
Yeah.
Like, when I go into my like space, I can think I know where we're going, but we can take an about left turn and here we go.
Absolutely.
So, tell us a little more about like raising the standard.
Okay, yeah, so let's talk about the standard situation. So I think you probably read in my book, and maybe you've heard me speak online on my social media or something about how I don't really do boundaries, I do standards. And I'm also not like a hard and fast, like, this is right, this is wrong. So if boundaries are working really well in your life, all the fucking power to you. That's awesome. For me, for my clients, for those who are influenced by my thought leadership, the standard energy is a lot more powerful for them. And what I mean by that is when you operate from an energy of standards, you're operating from an energy of congruence. Congruence essentially means you're a match for something, right? You're in congruence with something, you're a match for it, right? So if you're operating from the energy of, these are my standards, the energy of I'm in congruence with this, the energy of I'm a match for this, you're not operating from separation, you're operating from unity, oneness. And that energy is a lot more effortless and easeful and divinely orchestrated and divinely intervened, right? Like
Yeah.
you're leaving space for the magic to come through, for this is the energy of manifestation podcast, for the energy of manifestation to come through, and you're not pushing. Where I feel like the energy of boundaries, it just feels a little old to me. It feels like an old paradigm to me. And I know that they are necessary in certain paradigms. If you're operating in a paradigm of abuse or neglect or shame or you know what I mean? Like it definitely serves its role, but in the paradigm that I live in this new paradigm that's always evolving and always getting better, there's just no need for boundaries. It's like, that's not even, I don't even use that word. It doesn't even make sense to me.
No.
It's like, I just have a standard of how I'm treated, of how people treat me, of how I treat people. I have a standard of what I'm available for in my life in terms of the beauty in my life, in terms of the abundance in my life, the prosperity, the success. Like, it's just a very clear, this is a match or this isn't a match. And when you're operating from a boundary, you're in this energy of like protection and like defense. Yes, exactly. It's like this energy of defense and protection. And it's a very extractive energy. It's also very forceful, where I do like, one of my teachings, it's a chapter 8 in the book. It's also, I have a signature retreat, and it's one of my token phrases is the art of receiving and being in more of a receptive state and more of a natural state, which is ease and flow with the world.
Yes.
So that's the energy of standards.
I don't know if you guys can feel this. Like, I'm sure you can if you paid, like, really tuned in, but I don't know if you've noticed, but just hearing her speak has, like, I feel like I've been raising the standard just through what she just shared. Like, that is how easy and effortless. And I think, and I know I've been caught in this trap before too, where like people think that healing and their evolution and their growth has to be hard, but it doesn't. Like, it can just be as simple as shifting the thoughts and the consciousness to where you want it to be instead, and then feeling in that space.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, amazing. I knew this was gonna be like...
Yeah, I hope that everyone listening is already feeling the juice of like, oh, what a consciousness paradigm shift of just, I'm just gonna raise the standards in my life. Like, if I think of how that gets to be so easy and how it would be like in my life is like little, like if you think of little tangible things, like, oh, I'm not available to wear this because that doesn't match my vibe. I'm not available to drive this. That just doesn't match my vibe. Like, and it's not about this big, this isn't enough, this isn't good, this is bad, whatever. It's just like, this is just not really matching my vibe. I deserve better. And it's that effortless. And it's the same thing in relationships, right? I feel like boundaries, I feel like when you relate to another human being is when people feel like I need to put these boundaries in place. But if you just raise the standard of like, people treat me as the highest version of myself because I am the highest version of myself, and you make sure that you are the fucking highest version of yourself, then it's pretty easy to maintain that standard. In terms of relationship to money, it's instead of, because it's a relationship, right? The same way you relate to your husband, you relate to money, the consciousness, the energy, the physical manifestation of it. And you can just raise the standard of that. Like, thank you so much for how you've been in my life, how you've been showing up in my life, and I'm ready. And the match for a much bigger, more expansive, more supportive, and truly congruent reality with you, based on how I've upgraded, based on how I've changed, based on how I've grown. And it just becomes like this naturalization is also one of my token words. And in terms of manifestation, I always say you manifest what's natural for you, you manifest what's true for you. And when you naturalize what you want, you become a congruent match. So in terms of standards and naturalizing, it's just a natural reality that you're rising and growing as a human, and so you deserve better. And the more it becomes more, and it becomes better, and it becomes more true. and it's a standard versus like hard and fast boundaries.
Yeah, I love that. Like it just gets to be easy and effortless. And so for those that are listening, that maybe this is a new concept for them, and like, how do you guide somebody, or what is the process you go through to like have people start looking at their standards, or like if they're being called for like more to feel more in all that that word encompasses in their life?
So with one-on-one clients, I would do a very, very deep sort of interactive and also focused, where I can just channel and understand what's going on without them even speaking. I would do an inventory is what I call it. So I go through and do an inventory. But with you, because I'm not accessing your consciousness right now, I would empower you to do your own inventory. And I call it a success inventory, because success, I'm a projector, so success is my alignment theme. What are you?
Projector.
What's your profile?
I am a 1-3.
1-3, amazing. I'm a 6-2.
Okay.
6-2 projector. I love it. That makes sense why you're so like you're doing this work and you're so curious about other people doing this work.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh,
That's that one line.
Yeah,
that
exactly. And that's what I've learned is that like for my 1-3, like I need to learn and try on and do for myself first, so that I can like share that
and give that to your clients. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas as a 6-2, I'm not like, I've never read a book. I don't read books. I've barely even read my own book. I wrote it and then I was like, okay, someone edit this. Because I'm like,
I've done my part.
I've done it, and I don't listen to other people's podcasts. Like I will listen to this because I've been interviewed on it, but that's like that 6 and that 2. Like I'm just like, I feel like I just know and I just go with it. And then when I hear things that you say and it feels validating and confirming, I'm like, oh, yes, perfect. That's great. That's good. But I don't feel like, oh, I want to dive into more and learn, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like a different thing, but I feel like this energy really plays nicely together. And the other 1-3s that I have in my life as well, like we vibe really well because they'll say things that confirm what I know and that strengthens what I know. Do you know what I mean? And it's totally like you have the energy to go and discover those things that I'm like, I don't really have the energy to go investigate that. But if you share what you've discovered and it feels true, I'm like, yes, thank you. It's like a very reciprocal, unique relationship. For anyone listening, we're talking about human design. We're both projectors, which is why you do this energy work. Why you're able to dive deep with your people and with your clients and with someone you're interviewing, right? You're able to be like, I can see right through and so deep. It's like, it's so nice to be held by a projector. Like, I think it's intimidating for a lot of people, but if you allow it, like, there's no better place to be than to be held by a projector. But anyways, okay, I was saying, where were we?
See, this is why we just allow the conversation to like flow. It takes over, and I don't edit.
Oh, I remember. I don't edit either. I don't edit anything. I remember. So we were talking. I was saying, if you were my one-on-one client, I would do this for you. But because I don't know who you are, although I would love to know who you are and feel into your energy, what I would empower you to do, and I do this many times throughout the book, is to take a success inventory of your own life. And I was saying how my alignment is success. So maybe for you, it's like, maybe that word success doesn't feel right to you. Maybe it's like peace, right? How can I feel most at peace in all these areas of my life? For me, it's like, how can I feel the most success in these areas? Maybe it's satisfaction, or I know for some generators also the word joy feels really right for them. Versus satisfaction. So maybe it's joy, maybe it's a sense of delight if you're a reflector. So, or forget about, if you don't know anything about human design, who fucking cares? You don't need to. It's just that one of the many tools that can be supportive. But if you just feel into like what feels so good in your life, and you're like, how can these areas of my life feel the fucking best? Like literally so life-giving. That's another word I use a lot, is like giving me life. Like, yes, I want that. So I would take an inventory. I would look at, and in terms of standards, I would look at all these areas of your life, like maybe your marriage or your relationship, that's that intimate relationship. Maybe it's your friendships, maybe it's your business. Maybe it's your your sense of like fulfillment and purpose. Like I think that
Yeah.
is the most important thing for me, at least. It's like feeling like this actually is my true fucking mission on earth. Like I'm so proud of this part of my life. Your success, your fulfillment there. Maybe it's your health, your wellness, your body, whatever area of your life, although I would encourage you to do all of them. You want to look through and see like, is that my highest standard? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you look and you go, my marriage, is this my highest fucking standard? Or have I just been, you know, putting that on the back burner?
Settling.
Settling?
Yeah.
Maybe you're settling, and that's a question of why the fuck are you settling? You deserve better, and you need to know that. Or is it, are you neglecting because you're focused over here on, you know, business and money and growth in that way, which is awesome. But, you know, in my life's work, the focus is this holistic thrival, right? Like life-giving in all the ways, and there's room and space for all of it to thrive. And yes, there are times in life where maybe the standard slips a little bit on, let's say, your marriage, right? It's like, okay, I love you, babe, but I don't have time and space and energy for date night twice this week because I'm really, really focusing my energy on my newborn here, which is my business or my child or my health or something, right? You can, if you're conscious of it and you're mindful and you're intentional of it, you can shift where the standards are. But the ultimate optimized goal and what I would hold as a standard for my clients, I hold my clients to a very high standard. I hold myself to a very high standard. I would ensure that they're all top tier.
Yeah.
Right. So go through, look at your life like, think of like, there's always something. And like, even if we like close our eyes together and breathe. So if you're home watching or listening, just close your eyes and breathe and access that divine power that is in you, right? Maybe that takes you into your heart. Maybe that takes you into your stomach, your solar plexus. Maybe that takes you just like, you can feel that in your hands and you're like, oh, I'm powerful, alive here, right? Wherever you feel that sense of like, I'm connected to something bigger and I am something bigger, right? That energy, once you're there, operate as that perspective. And from that perspective that is higher and truer and more fucking powerful, look at your life and go, have I been holding myself to my highest standard? And if any part of you is like, well, I don't care, then it's, why don't you care that you have a beautiful life?
Yeah.
Why would you have to take your name out of the hat on having a beautiful life? Like you fucking deserve it. And maybe your mind saying, oh, there's no time to do all these things well. Okay, why are you in that extractive separative paradigm? Why can't you choose a paradigm where there's enough time and space for everything you desire?
Yeah.
Of course there is, right? This is a one precious life, a one unrepeatable life. Source chose you, God chose you, life chose you, the universe chose you, whoever the fuck you believe in, or all of it. You know, you had to choose you, right? So if those little thoughts are coming up, they're not coming from your truest, highest place. So let's dive deeper. Let's get you back into that space. So let's breathe. No matter what you're feeling or thinking, can you take it 1% deeper? Can you bring it 1% higher and start to shift your own posture in a way where you can breathe easier. And when you connect to your breath, you connect to life force. When you connect to life force, you connect to source intelligence. So can you breathe in a more powerful way? And when you can get into that state, then I ask you, look at how you've been living. Are you fucking proud of it? Where can it get better? Be real with yourself. Hey, you know, this area is going really well. I'm fucking proud of how I've been showing up here and I'm proud of the results here. Oh, this area, I've been putting that on the back burner. This needs my love. This needs my attention. I'm not proud of how I've been. I'm not proud of my results, right? And shift it. So that's what I would say to you is take time with yourself today because you deserve it and actually do an inventory in your life of like, where are those standards? That's the quickest, most efficient, most powerful thing I think anyone can do.
Yeah.
And the only reason someone wouldn't do it is because they say they don't have time. And I would say, well, that's not true. And the only other reason someone would not do it is that they don't actually think that they deserve to have this thriving, beautiful life.
And that also is
Not
definitely
true.
not true.
Definitely not fucking true. No matter who you are, I write this in chapter 2. No matter who you are and what your story has been up until now, you have something very powerful to move with, and that is your decision. Right now, no matter who the fuck you are, literally, no matter how mortified you are of who you've been up until now, or no matter how, I don't know, I haven't been paying attention, or no matter how, fuck, I love who I've been up until now. No matter what, doesn't matter. Right now is a new moment. Right now is the time to decide. And it starts with that decision. And then take it deeper, a success inventory, which I would highly suggest.
Yeah. And like what I keep hearing too right now is that like, if taking inventory, no, I highly recommend taking inventory of all of it.
Yep.
And then maybe to bridge yourself in, focus on one spot. Because then what I keep hearing is that it's going to, by raising the standards in one area,
Yes,
it raises the standards in all of it. And what I keep seeing the listeners doing is allowing, like, having them focus on their one area, but then being drawn to look into another area, raising that standard, and it just keeps going up and up. And like, before you know it, like, it becomes effortless and you've raised the standards in all of your areas.
I feel it's very old and outdated to assume that only one area has to be good. Like, oh, I've got this amazing company and this amazing financial reality, but like my kids never see me. I'm not present with my wife. Like, I'm not present with my husband or my partner. My health shit. Like, what? No, that is so old, so outdated, so not true.
No.
And what's natural is like this overall thrival. That is your natural state. So long as you're alive on earth, you ought to be thriving. And that gets to be your standard. And echoing what Leslie said, yeah, if you do focus in on one point and you get that point to a top tier, you're just going to go, oh, this is naturally fucking awesome. And then you're going to go, it would be normal and natural now to make sure all areas of my life feel this good.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? When you naturalize that, like the more aligned you are, the more you crave it. So if you crave that alignment in one area, it'd be very weird to not crave it in another area.
Because it creates that ripple effect.
Yeah.
And like it ripples out into all the areas of your life. It ripples out into like the family and your close circle and like, and then it goes out from there and out from there and like,
absolutely.
Because as you said earlier, we are all connected and we are all one and part of that one source consciousness. So like, this is why I had to have her on the podcast. This is why. That was like amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That I feel like we're gonna get lots of comments just from that. Like,
good.
And I feel like that helped people at the like who may not been aware. Like it's kind of almost like an awakening for those that needed to hear it. As we know, this is like what was channeled exactly needed for you listening, and it's just so brilliant.
Oh, good. Yeah, it really meets you. This work meets you where it's at, like where you're at, right? The book meets you where you're at. Even with one-on-one clients, I find I tend to, I'm not sure what your client base is like, I tend to bring in clients who have been doing this work for a long time, whether it's self-development or spiritual. But I also have clients who are extremely self-developed as human beings, but they don't necessarily have a connection to the spiritual side, and yet they're still drawn to my work. And sometimes I have clients who are very spiritually connected, and yet they don't have their feet on the earth here as a human being. So if they don't, like, it's like, I can't really even describe, like, if someone, I also feel it's like an old paradigm to be like, who's your ideal client? Because like, I could not even describe. Because the variety is quite large. Different types of people. So speaking to you, no matter who you are, no matter what your story is, but no matter where you're at, like, this work of being unfuckwithable, of being your true self, of being in your highest timeline, like it literally meets you where you're at right now. And you can transform right now. And to what Leslie was mentioning earlier, like it doesn't need to be this long, drawn out, painful process to heal and to rise. It's a paradigm shift and a choice. And I think sometimes like with more time and devotion into your own ascension, you do get to a point where you're like, okay, this just needs to change and I'm ready for this new paradigm. And sometimes people who are very new to this and don't know that necessarily the language we're using or haven't been doing this thing, they're just like, oh, that sounds great. Why wouldn't I just shift to a better reality? And both
it's
are
unconscious competent, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like they're unconscious
competent. Yeah.
Yeah, they already know, so they're gonna like just
Yes.
they just start doing it without even thinking, or like it just happens.
And this is part of, I think it would be like wrong to not even describe what's going on collectively right now in the transits that are happening astrologically. And whether you understand or want to understand anything astrologically, just if you tap into the energy of humanity right now, I think if you're in a paradigm of expansion, excitement, joy, and alignment, you're gonna see, oh my gosh, everyone's awakening. That's what I see.
Yeah.
But if you're in a consciousness of fear and lack and scarcity and pain and separation, you're gonna see that really fucking loud and clear. And that is becoming very obvious right now. And the way that what's happening, like 2024 started this, it's called a yuga. This is a word my mom just taught me recently, and I love it. Have you heard of it?
No, I'm excited for this.
So, and my mom, I was raised by a psychic channel. We own a retreat center. Our family owns a retreat center. Like I was brought up in this. I think it's important to mention that. And I still chose to, go the Western, more medicine and the Western science model as well. I chose that for myself. And here we are full circle right back to what I know to be true.
To do that too, right?
100%.
Like you.
And I use a lot of that, like especially the neuroanatomy stuff. It's like I understand actually how genetics work and I understand how anatomy and physiology works. And that just fucking validates more and more what I know about energy medicine.
Yeah.
And to be able to be like, oh, this is all happening right now. This is like really connected is special. But this yuga that's happening it basically is like a life cycle of like death and rebirth, death and rebirth, death and rebirth. And for many years, we've been in this downward as a collective. But it doesn't mean people aren't awakening, doesn't mean people aren't, like, look what we're doing. We've been doing this forever, right? This is who we are. But as a collective, there's been this like painful, and you see that in the news. I don't watch the news, but for those of you who watch the news, you see this all happening, right?
Yeah.
You see how it's like getting painful because it's this downward death, rebirth cycle. So as a collective, 2024 started, right? This year that we're in, we're recording this, it's February 1st, which is awesome. I love that we're starting the month like this.
Yes.
And we've hit now this yuga, which is this turning point of a new birth for the collective. So what I found this means for healers, new paradigm leaders, and people who are doing light work, like light workers on Earth, they're now seeing a momentum kick. They're saying, oh, people are catching on. People who have been denying their divinity are seeing it's very hard. It's very hard for people right now. We actually just in our family, we just lost someone to suicide over the weekend. Yeah.
Oh,
so I know.
Yeah.
So I say that not lightly. I say that as the real of it's a hard time for people and there's this awakening happening. So you have the power to choose right now how you want to feel moving forward in this yuga. You have the power to decide that no matter what led up to this moment of you hearing this, right? Source is putting this in your consciousness for a reason, whether you caught this YouTube video or you caught this podcast. It's a moment to choose. It's a moment to decide, I'm going to take my life back right now.
Yeah.
For some of us, it's really easy and exciting. Like for me, I'm like, you know what, like that, I don't care. I always feel like it's getting better and better and better every day. I've felt that for years. But for some people, if they really want and need that confirmation, it is literally the time to choose. It is literally the time right now to decide. Like there's no better time than right now, 2024, because of what's going on with planetary shifts, astrological shifts, and then this death rebirth cycle that Earth is going through all the time, like the planet, right? Mother Earth, who we walk on, who we breathe the air of, like this is always happening.
Yeah.
But there's this big one for humanity happening right now.
Yeah.
And that's why you're seeing like this division. But the way a yoga work is it's a circular flow. So it's like the division always comes back to oneness and unity. So stay in your lane. That's chapter 5 in my book. Stay in your fucking lane, do your path.
Yeah.
But if you're wondering if this is a good time to start your journey of self-development or personal ascension or just living in more of a true space, like it fucking is the time.
And like if you're here listening to this, then like this is your giant
sign.
V8 sign moment.
That's your moment, baby. This is your moment.
That this is meant for you too.
Yeah.
And I can't stress that enough. Is that like that is the beauty of this, is that you get to have all the success, joy, abundance, all of the things that you want. So do I.
Yes.
So do they.
Yes.
Like it's not like from a place of lack, because there is, with like abundance, for example, like every time we all take a breath in, there's no shortage of air.
Yeah.
There's no shortage of it. So if I can have success, if you can have success, abundance, joy, so can you. And that is, I think, what you really needed to hear in this moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I maybe get the impression or the intuitive feeling that listeners have been doing this work for a while and are very tapped in, right? Even to just click on a podcast called The Energy of Manifestation, like you're open, you're curious, or you're like so fucking into it and you're like, yeah, this is just like how I speak.
And this is just your reminder.
And this is just your reminder. And I think it's easy to see me here, you know, with a best-selling book and with the success that I have and all that I've achieved in my 29 years. But if someone were to like ask me if, you know, this felt also like easy and natural all the time, no, absolutely not. Like I feel like this has been years in the making. Like I feel like and I'm just getting started. Like I still have moments of like bitterness where I'm like, this is like, I deserve so much fucking better, you know? Oh, I get that all the time. Like I'm able to access my truest, highest self of like, it's all happening now. It's all adding up.
I was doing that on the way here.
Right? Like, it's all happening now. It's all adding up. I'm so fucking grateful. Like I get to look at my life and go, wow, this is extraordinary. And I have a hunger for more. I have a knowing beyond the hunger. Like I have a knowing that I'm here for so much more than I have. And my work and your work listening, if you too feel like, fuck, I've been doing this for a while, like when are the results going to kick in? Because yes, I have incredible results. And I actually wrote this in the book, just because I'm living your dream life doesn't mean it's my dream life. So there's a lot of people that would go, oh, I want what she has. I want what she has. But I have a knowing that this is the starting, start.
Yeah.
Not the finish line. So even though, I have this amazing life and I'm very fucking grateful for it, I have a knowing of so much more that I'm available for and desire. So I'm no separate from you in the sense that I don't feel like, when are the real results going to kick in? You know, like when is this impact that I know I'm here to have going to kick in? Like I still feel like I'm at the beginning. So my work is, it's all happening now. This is all part of it. Like I'm so fucking proud of who I've become, of what I have, of what I'm giving, of the work that I do. Like I have to be in that constant gratitude and that constant self-awareness and like, wow, good job, Haley. Fucking relax and take a break, like rest, go on a vacation, like you've done it. And I have to honor that knowing that there is more. And I think that is like the invisible string that will keep you going. Is knowing that there's more. And the finesse and the nuances, can you let that invisible string lead you from a place of true desire and soul knowing, and not from a place of scarcity and separation and not enoughness. And that's been my work. So I wanted to give you guys the real truth is, I want more. My ego wants more because I fucking want more and I deserve it. And then my soul is like, girl, we're not even close
Mhm.
to doing what we came to fucking earth to do. So I play with both. And what feels better is like, it's all about what feels better, right? What feels better is like, my soul is here for more.
Yeah. And that is like part of why we came to this earth in this time.
In this time, yes.
Is because we are constantly growing and evolving,
Yeah.
and our soul is calling us for more
Yeah.
because it's part of our growth and our
Yeah.
evolution. And this is part of like my mission and my purpose is to help goddesses awaken so that they can live out their fullest,
Yeah.
truest expression
Yes.
of their human life here.
Yes.
And you literally can have it all at your
Yeah.
fingertips.
Yeah.
So know that you can calibrate to these moments as well.
Yeah.
And your time, like, and I totally resonate with what you were saying too, like about having these moments of like, okay, like when are the results coming?
Yeah.
Like there's very much that I've been feeling that a lot lately too, is like I almost feel the duality of things,
Yeah.
right? Like it's like, okay, it's here, like things are moving,
Yeah.
and then it's like, well, when are they gonna happen? Like there's
Yeah.
both sides, and that is the law of opposites too, right?
Yeah.
So
a concept that might help you too, Leslie, and the listeners, is if you start to feel in the energy of like your human is working for your soul, like they're like working for you.
yeah.
And your soul is working for your human. And that's why I'm very big on pleasure, and I'm very big on the human. I'm also a Taurus, so I'm also very big on like the human indulgence experience of like letting your human fucking enjoy this life.
Yeah.
Versus just, here's my soul mission, I'm gonna fucking
Yes.
do it all.
Yes.
But like ultimately the soul's working for the human's working for the soul, and they're like a team. So if you can get into this energy and you see the duality not as like a problem, but you see it as like, here's the reality. My human wants more because they want more money, they want more freedom, they want more time to fucking enjoy being human.
Yeah.
And my soul giving the human that desire so that I keep going, so that I fulfill my mission, so that I carry on. But it's hard to feel clean, pure desire from a place of non-appreciation for what you have already achieved and received. And even if that feels like, even if you're like, that doesn't feel like a lot for me right now, or maybe you're like, that's a fucking lot, I should definitely be grateful.
Yeah.
Wherever you're at on the spectrum, just taking moments of like honoring your human and like honoring like the being proud of like, look how far you've come. It's February 1st. Like I bet you've spent a lot of the last month really focused on yourself. If you're listening to this podcast, like you showed up here, you've been doing this. Look back and celebrate that. And often that's the missing ingredient of your next manifestation.
We don't celebrate enough.
Yeah, like the celebration and the acknowledgement and like I'm proud of myself and like look how far I've come and look what I've done. That's often a missing nutrition and a missing nutrients and ingredient to manifestation. And that takes like this, it's like there's a soul, there's the human, and then there's the bigger consciousness that you also are. Yeah. And when that bigger consciousness is like at the table, they're like, yes, we still have work to do here on earth, and fucking relax and enjoy yourself. And when you do both, you have that alchemized experience, you know? Yeah. So something to consider that I have to work on as well every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So many goodies.
So many goodies. Oh, I can't, like, I knew this would be exactly perfect.
Oh.
So, where can people find you?
Okay, so I'm kind of found two ways. By my name, which is Haley Bowler-Cooke, for those of you watching on YouTube.
I will put that in the show notes.
Like it's a little dirty. Haley Bowler-Cooke is my given name, and my company is Uplift Lifestyle Incorporated. So usually when someone searches Uplift Lifestyle, they find me, or if they search Haley Bowler-Cooke, they find me. So Uplift Lifestyle, put this all in the show notes. Share it on whatever. My podcast is Uplift Lifestyle Podcast. If you are interested in some free resources and support in that way, my book is called UNFUCKWITHABLE. and it's
Love
brand
that
new
term.
out. Yeah, it's so good. Unfuckwithable. It's so good. Being unfuckwithable. And I normally don't like encourage people like, you really should do this, but like, you really fucking should read this.
Yeah,
book.
you guys, I invited her to the podcast on page 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's-
like,
you really should read Unfuckwithable.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
it's a black and gold cover. It's
Mhm.
black and gold cover, and you can get it on Amazon. It's at the link in my bio. You can link it in the show notes. We'll link it everywhere. Just pick it up on Amazon. If you want to hold up your Amazon copy, that's what the Amazon
Yes.
copy looks like. It's soft cover. There's also a hardcover on Amazon. If you get it from an Indigo, it has this gold foil.
Yes,
There's benefits to both. I have both copies. Like I sometimes like just the soft cover, how it's like can fit in my purse.
yeah,
and it's easier to read.
and like looking at that one, it's got the shiny.
Yeah,
like,
I
the
put this like on the coffee table, you know, it's like sexy,
Yeah.
like a little shiny. Reminds you you're fucking unfuckwithable.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll put the book in the show notes as well. And then my Instagram is at @uplift_lifestyle. And even if you type in my name, Haley Bowler-Cooke, you can find me. I'm definitely the most active on Instagram, and I feel like it is very encompassing of who I am, because I'm just like showing myself living life, right?
Yeah.
I'm enjoying things, but I'm also there promoting offers. I'm also there educating. I'm also there activating and inspiring. Like, it's a very wholesome place where you get to understand me and be just expanded by the life that I live and the naturalization of that. So that's what I'd say. In terms of ways to work with me, definitely start with listening to the podcast and reading the book. If that's where you want to start, right? The book's $44 or $33 on Amazon. Start there. If you feel like, oh my gosh, I want a very deep experience with her, send me a message and we can talk about one-on-one. I have 2 different one-on-one containers. Very, very high level work, very powerful work, but still what I'm realizing, fairly accessible prices. People tell me that all the time, oh, your prices are really accessible for who you are. I'm like, thank you. And they feel good to me and I keep them there.
Yeah.
So one-on-one work is a great option. And then Danielle and I, actually, Danielle says hi. We're messaging on our way here. Danielle Amos and I have just started a new membership called Encoded Conversations. It's so good.
I didn't listen to that one yet,
Yes.
but like
It's so
I can the 2 of you together, like
We really, because that's how you came into my world through Danielle.
yes,
Yes.
yeah,
And
through
she,
the
on the way here, she's like, Leslie's amazing, you're gonna love her.
yeah.
And then she sent more things, but I had to stop listening because I was pulling in and I was like, I gotta get out of here. But yeah, so Danielle and I have this membership. It's $111 US a month. It's very, very, very accessible, but it's very high level conversations where we also give hot seat coaching, and it's just a great combination of my ability to channel and activate you into your power, like no nonsense. And then her processes and formulas, she's really good at.
She's a master.
She's
at
a
her craft.
master at her craft. Yes,
Yeah.
she is. And she specializes a lot in money consciousness
Mhm.
and actual results, which I'm big on that as well. I don't think it's just about having like, ooh, yeah, it's all available. It's like, okay, but you know, it's also nice actually having it.
Actually, yeah, in real life.
In
too,
real life
right?
is the focus. So yeah, we have a beautiful membership together. And other than that, I don't have many offers. I'm very specific on getting my book in the world, doing a lot of speaking events, working
Amazing.
one-on-one with my specific high-level clients, this membership, and then I run retreats, ceremonies, and in-person events. So if you were living kind of near Leslie in this Stratford, London, Kitchener-Waterloo, Toronto area here in Ontario, you'll definitely want to see what I've got for events, because my in-person events are extremely activating and powerful as well. So that's what I'd say to that. Just come hang out on Instagram and see me and feel me, and yeah, re-listen to this, and you're in very good hands with Leslie here as a facilitator.
Thank you.
And yeah, I've just really enjoyed being here, Leslie, and I know that your audience is very lucky to have you as an intuitive and as an activator and someone who's empowering so many goddesses, like you said.
Mhm.
So thank
That
you.
is my word of the year, is like
Goddess.
in every way possible.
Mm.
Like when I think of goddess, it is she's a leader. She's
Yes.
like just everything you talk about. Her standards are so high
Yep.
that like
Yep.
she's just in flow. So
I love the word goddess too.
yeah,
Goddess. So all of you goddesses listening, thank you. Thank
yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
See that?